The only real God is the one that you believe in. Start looking for the God in others. And if you find you're tuning into a wave, well then I don't know much about being saved.
Hello, everybody.
Welcome in, friends.
Welcome to another episode of Spiritual Philos-O-Chatter with the Joneses. I'm Danny Jones.
And I am Samantha Jones.
And here we are, episode 42.
42. That's how old I am.
Oh, my gosh.
I know, in case you
what
didn't
a
know.
coinky-dinky.
Yeah.
What is our topic?
It is the Rainbow Bridge.
Beautiful.
I just thought that was interesting.
Yeah, I see you got your tissue roll over there.
I do have my tissue roll this week.
Good.
I did prepare.
Might be a tough one.
We'll see. I hope not, but I've already been like super emotional today for some reason, so I just kind of prepared, you know.
Okay.
Yeah,
Good.
and it's about animals, so you know I get emotional over the animals.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay.
So.
But before we jump into this one, you got anything from last week?
I sure do. So last week we did the readings for people, or I did the readings for people, when we did the Talking to Heaven. What did we call that episode? I don't remember.
What?
The name of the last week's episode.
Chatting with the other
There
side.
you go. Yeah.
There
I
you go.
forget these things so
That's all
quickly.
right. We're old.
Yeah.
You're 42.
Oh, yeah. It's happening.
You're
Trust
42.
me. It's going fast. Oh, look, there goes the thought. I can lose my train of thought so fast. Okay.
Yeah.
Like now. Anyways. So we did Chatting with the Other Side, and I did a few readings in there. And so I just wanted to give a little update real quick on those readings.
Cool.
I'm not going to spend a lot of time with these because I really want to get into the animal part of this episode.
Nice.
But if you remember, one of the readings I did was for Lynn, and Lynn had the stepdaughter that
Yes.
I felt had the addiction to some kind of drug, probably prescriptions,
Yes.
possibly a suicide. So this is Lynn's response. Your reading on Alyssa really made me smile. She was a sweet young woman with difficulties, drug addiction at an early age. None of the family was with her at the time of her overdose, so I'm not sure if it was by accident or by choice. I wouldn't blame her if it was by choice. Her young life was really troubled. I still remember her giggling, smile, and how much she adored being around her younger siblings. They really loved her. They really loved being with her as well. She could be a kid with them with no judgment. I can't thank you enough for letting me know that she is okay and happy.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Oh, thanks for sharing
Thank
that,
you, Lynn. Thank you for letting me do that
Appreciate
reading
your
as well.
Participation.
Yes, really. I appreciate it. And then this one is from Chris. She had Morgan, the baby that died at birth.
Okay.
So this is her response. Samantha is amazing. I'm the Chris she talks about in the episode. I lost my son Morgan Tyler at 23, almost 24 weeks. My relationship with my ex-husband was horrible at the time I found out I was pregnant. He actually asked me to get an abortion. After we agreed to go forward with having him was when we found out his brain wasn't developing. Samantha is 100% spot on with this reading. I do have abilities that I never tapped into before my son because honestly, it was scary and I decided to get back into it the past few years. Samantha, thank you so much for this. Not only has this validated everything about my son, but also the abilities I have.
Wow. That's
Okay.
awesome. Thanks for sharing that, Chris.
Yes, thank you, Chris. And in that reading I had said it had something to do with her husband and yeah.
Right.
So, and then
Cool.
the last one, okay, I'm not going to read her response to me on this one because this is very personal family business that I just don't feel needs to be aired. But if you remember, there was also Susan, and she had the mother that she asked about the shit show that was left behind.
Yes.
Okay. So the reading was very accurate. It is deep family problems, some of which is related to an estate, which is what I said. Her and her mother had problems their entire life, and they weren't even speaking when her mother passed. Yeah. So I'm hoping that one day she'll be able to let me do a reading for her. It's a sensitive subject, but right. I wanted to give an update on that one as well.
Cool.
So,
well, at least she, responded.
Oh yeah,
That's
no,
cool.
she did. We talked a lot about it.
Right.
It's just that it is really personal family stuff. I don't
Sure.
want to read her response.
Right.
So
Cool. Well, that's all good feedback, though.
yes, it was wonderful. And you know what? I liked doing this so much that I think we should do a couple of these every week. Let me do it. Don't you think that's a good idea?
Couple readings?
Yeah.
Absolutely. Why not?
I think it's a great idea.
It's what you do, no?
And I love it. So
Yeah.
let's share it.
Yeah, for sure.
Cool.
Good idea.
And we're going to do that this week, but this week we're going to do just animals.
Okay.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, is that it for last week's wrap-up?
That's it for last week.
Cool. Well, then let's get to episode 42, The Rainbow Bridge.
The Rainbow Bridge. So, first of all, what is the Rainbow Bridge, in case some of our listeners don't know? The Rainbow Bridge is actually a poem, a series of poems that was written in the 1980s, 1990s. And these poems talk about what happens when an animal passes, and that animal goes to the other side, but doesn't go all the way in to the other side. That basically our pets stay in a meadow outside of heaven in front of a bridge where they wait there for us until they cross over into the other side. So that's the Rainbow Bridge.
Until their master crosses over?
Yes, until we get there. Sorry. Until, their master or whoever they're waiting for, the person.
Gotcha.
And then you're supposed to cross over.
Cool.
So one of the questions that goes with this is the Rainbow Bridge real? And that's a really good question because yes and no. It's not real in the sense that they wait for us until they cross over like that.
Right.
Our animals are all in heaven.
Yep.
I see this meadow all the time, this beautiful meadow. So maybe this is before, maybe, I don't really know, but I can tell you that they do not wait outside for us to go in, because when I communicate with them, I see them inside and I see them with their relatives. So like if you have, your mom had a dog and that dog passed away, I'll see them together when I go in to talk to them.
Not necessarily with your relatives, but relatives' animals.
Whoever it may be.
Right.
Like, my dogs, usually when they present themselves, I'll see my mom too, or, it's a soul family. Your animals are still kind of in your soul
Part of it.
family. Yeah.
Right.
So they stick around those people. But let's see what some of these questions say. I had a lot of questions and I know we're not going to get to all of these.
That's all right.
But there's a lot and they were all very good. Okay. So let's see. Well, this kind of comes back a little bit to what we were just talking about. What if a pet is attached to one family, to more than one family, like a rehomed dog? Okay. So if the way that I take from it is, if this were to happen, if, you have a dog that was a rescue and had a previous owner, I feel like that dog, for the most part, or that animal, would be with the person that it was most attached to. If for some reason, like, let's say, okay, my mom had 2 dogs when she passed that were really, really attached to her, and they went to new homes after her. Mm-hmm. I feel like if those dogs were really attached to the owners after her, that a piece of their soul could be with either one, because just like us, or like both at the same time.
Now,
yes.
While their owners are living.
No. Yes.
Okay.
Yes, exactly.
Well, I tend to believe that there's enough love to go around in every soul, like this, that if both owners were able to connect with it, it would be there for both of them. When they both pass and go to heaven, I would tend to believe that the beauty of heaven is the same as earth, is that there's free will.
Right.
The only difference is we don't use our free will in heaven to do bad things.
Right, exactly.
So that animal's going to be with whoever it wants to be, whenever it wants to be,
it can
and
be
there's
with multiple
no
people.
hard feelings about it.
Right.
It's not like that.
No, not at all. No. So I think, it really depends on where the animal was and what happened in its life, but it can be in multiple places at once.
Sure.
I really do
and
feel
I think
that.
it will appreciate and spend the time with both.
Yes.
Really.
Mm-hmm. I agree.
I don't think it would tend to stay with one.
It's really hard to say, because here's the reason that I say that. Like, we all have dogs or cats or whatever that are, I don't want to say our favorites, okay? But like, I had a dog, Sierra, that I talk about often. Sierra was my dog. She really was. But she was my ex-husband's dog. That was his dog. She loved him.
Right.
So now we're divorced. Mm-hmm. He's in Vegas. I'm here. Mm-hmm. Where is she most of the time? Well, My assumption actually at this point is that she's reincarnated. But if she hadn't, I would feel that she would be with him more because it was more his dog. I know that may not make sense, but that's kind of how I feel. Like there's a stronger soul connection.
Right.
And also like there was another question in here that I'll roll along into this is, over time, do the animals stop to visiting us as much? Are they around, like not around us as much? And that's not really what it is. And this kind of ties into what we were just talking about is they kind of choose where they want to be, just like human spirits do. And if you don't recognize them being around, they may not be around you because, what's the point, right? They have other things that they can do. So that's kind of my feeling is it really depends on how connected you are to your animals. Now, the lady that asked this question, she had mentioned that she lost a pet about, I think it was like 5 or 7 years ago. And she said that she doesn't feel that pet like she used to. And so she was wondering if it just faded over time. And I really don't think it's that it fades. I honestly feel like I said, either they reincarnate or we're just kind of getting on with our lives, and things start to fade and you don't start to think about it as much. And when you bring a spirit forward, that's when they're around more.
Right.
So you can do that yourself. You don't need, a medium or animal communicator to do that. Right. You can talk to them yourself. But if you recognize them, then they're going to come forward more often.
And I could see maybe them being a little busier. I don't know why I would say this, but because not only did they develop human relationships, but they've developed a lot of animal relationships.
Yes.
Maybe.
Yeah.
So they tend to want to be around even their siblings and their parents, maybe, if they're there.
Right.
Yeah. So they still have that part of their life besides the human aspect.
Exactly. And I do see that a lot. Like dogs will show me on the other side that their parents, they're, doggy parents. They're there with them.
It's totally true.
Yeah.
I remember when you first connected with Sequoia after she passed, and you said she was really busy.
She was busy.
She was happy and running around with the other animals, and so it was hard to kind of pin her down a little bit. She would kind of say, "Sorry, I'm just so excited."
Bye, Mom. Yeah.
Again, probably running around with all the other animals.
Oh, absolutely she was. And not just that, but she wasn't able to really play ball for the last few years of her life. And that was her favorite thing to do. But she just got too old. She couldn't do it anymore. And so when she got there, that's what I saw was her running and playing ball, and my mom throwing ball for her, and my ex-husband's mom also, people that she knew in life. That's who she gravitated to. She went towards those people. But also my previous yellow lab Tahoe, they were best friends. And so when I saw her there, I saw them together.
Right.
So, but Tahoe, because I hadn't really connected to him in a long time, I didn't feel him around, as much. And now that Sequoia's gone, I see him around more.
Yeah. Well, that's a good question.
No, it's very good. Let's see what else I have. Do angels or guides comfort them and let them know they have passed? So after an animal passes, we all are met by our family, our animals that have passed, our spirit guides, but we know what's happened when we get there for the most part. Unless with animals, it's different than humans. I'm not even going to get into
I think animals just instinctive.
They just know.
They know. It's the humans that question, and then they're caught in perception a bit.
Right.
So, but I don't think animals have that problem.
No, not at all. It's very different for animals when they pass. When an animal passes away, it arrives there, and it's not like this whole life review or anything. It's like, okay, I'm a dog, I'm a cat, I'm a whatever, and gets on with its life there. It doesn't need to have a life review. This is
and they're already communicating telepathically in general. So just because you're standing as a human or another dog they can communicate with, they can also do it with the other side. It's it's sort of similar to humans. Not everybody can do it. Some can and some can't. But I think it may be similar that some dogs just aren't interested, but they know it's there.
Right.
And they choose not to. And then some just do because that's part of who they are.
Yes. Absolutely. But I think that, Well, this is kind of important because a lot of people feel like, their dog is fearing death. Like, I'm taking my dog to the animal hospital and I'm going to have him put to sleep and he's afraid. Well, no, that's not what he's afraid of. He's not afraid of dying. He's not afraid of what's coming next because dogs, like you were saying, they communicate telepathically. Mm-hmm. And if you can telepathically communicate, you can talk to the other side. Mm-hmm. So these animals are already communicating like you had said. So It's not, right. It's very different in that way. And
like Sabbath sees Sequoia.
Yes, we took Sabbath with us when we put Sequoia down.
But he sees her, I'm sure, at times. And is kind of comforted by her. He misses her, but he's comforted by her. He knows she's there.
Oh, yeah. But what an animal is afraid of, like if you have a situation like that, you're taking him into the vet to be put down, is they can feel your energy. Mm-hmm. If your energy is going in there, messed up and you're crying and you're a mess, your dog doesn't know for the most part why you're crying. What are you a mess about? Because your dog, first of all, it thinks like a 5-year-old for the most part. But second of all, the dog's going home. Mm-hmm. It instinctively knows I'm not dying. I'm going to the back. I'm going to go back there to the animals and people I communicate with telepathically on the other side now. Yeah. And not, like you said, not all dogs do this, but really what makes the animals fearful of these things is us, not their fear of death. It's our energy, what we're doing to make them upset. Right. If you can keep your energy really calm in those situations, both you and your dog are going to have, or cat, whatever, have, a much better experience.
Right. And that is so, some people are going to listen to this and be like, are you kidding me? There's absolutely no way when I'm going to put my dog down, I'm in total shambles and, crying my eyes out. And trust me, when we put Sequoia down, there was a lot of tears.
Yes.
But the difference is that we took the time to communicate with her, to tell her, to ask her. Mm. Like, is it time? Are you ready? Do you want to stick around? And she was, no, like, I'm ready.
Yeah.
So not only did we, but we communicated with her, like, through the process of this is what we're doing.
Right.
So she wasn't like, why are you crying?
Right.
And, she was aware of why we were crying.
Right.
And it was okay.
Oh, absolutely. They know, but you have to let them know.
Yes.
Because it's not like they read all of your thoughts.
No.
But if you can tune into them, you don't even have to tune into them. Mm-mm. If you can just relax, you can telepathically communicate with them. You don't have to receive back. Right. So they can hear you. And that's another part of it, too, is that when that telepathy sometimes kicks in and you don't know that you're doing it, and they hear things, they may be hearing the wrong things, they may be seeing the wrong things, and then they're scared.
Right.
But as far as them being scared of moving on, they don't have that fear.
Yeah, they understand certain words as far as commands throughout their life, but they don't understand paragraphs and full-on sentences of what you're saying. But if you sit with them at this moment and you pet them, and you try to relax, even if you're in tears, and you just think your thoughts out loud in your mind, but you don't say it. Mm-hmm. You just think what you're saying in your mind as you pet them. It's like radio waves.
Yes.
It's vibrations.
Yes.
And they pick up on that, and they hear every word and understand every word. When you speak, I think it clouds it for them.
Right.
It's a little hard.
I agree with you.
They're trying to understand and hear your vibrations, and the words they don't know, so they kind of, it's like hearing two channels on a radio station or something,
I was just saying this to you about Zuma the other day, that he responds so much better when we talk to him telepathically than when we talk to him verbally. Mm-hmm. When we talk verbally, he looks at us like, what?
Right.
But when you talk to him telepathically, he instantly, for the most part, does what you want him to.
Yeah.
And it's really not like, we did an episode on this, I can't remember what number it was, 33 maybe, about how to communicate with your animals. It's really not that difficult. If you can just learn to relax, you can do it.
Yeah.
Also in a situation like this, if you are having to, put your animal down for whatever reason, please don't feel guilty for that.
Right.
You're doing your animal an amazing thing. Right. You're releasing your animal from pain and suffering.
And they're not scared.
They're not scared at all. But I get a lot of people that I do readings for that are so guilty about having to put their animals down, or so guilty about that they didn't see what was happening with their pet. And, you know, our animals don't want us to feel this guilt.
They're not scared because they're dumb, because they're dumber than humans. No. That's not it at all.
No.
They're not. It's actually because they're smarter. They're instinctually smarter.
Yeah.
So if they're old or sick and it's to that point, don't feel bad.
Absolutely. It was very hard for us to put Sequoia down. But here's a tip that I tell a lot of people when they ask me, when is the right time? Pick 3 things that your animal loves to do. Like for Sequoia, it was play ball, eat, and go for walks.
Right.
She lost the ability to play ball a few years before she died, like I said. Then it was the walks. She couldn't go on the walks, and she loved them. Even that's when she collapsed,
right.
And that was the day before we put her down. So she did her walks up until the day before she passed. She loved them. And then food, eating. Once she stopped eating, I was giving her everything, eggs and cheese and whatever she would take, and I'm just like, this is it. She's suffering. What am I doing? She had cancer, It was like, why am I hanging on? You let go for them. Yes. For us that's left behind, it sucks. But for them, let them go. Let them go home to their family on the other side. They thank you for it. You will
see them again.
Thank you for remembering the tissue, my higher self.
But you will see them again. They will see you again.
Yeah, for sure.
Or I will say you will be together again.
You will be together again. Yes. And, I talk a lot about reincarnation with the animals and how does that work? And I think it is very different for the animals because, like I was saying before, they don't have to go through a life review. They don't really have to learn lessons. They're unconditional love creatures. Yeah. They don't have lessons to learn. It's not like that for them. So I really feel like their reincarnation is kind of based on a few things. First of all, I feel that it's based a lot on us because for the most part, our animals do come back to us, depending on where we are in our lives. But for the most part, they do. So if we're ready for them to come back to us, then they can reincarnate whenever they want.
Right.
Also, they don't have to reincarnate if they don't want to. So they could stay there, for however long and then be like, okay, I'm going to go back. So it's really very much depends on, what they want to do.
Right.
They don't have to reincarnate at all until like let's say that you're 70 years old and you don't want another animal, but they'll just wait there for you. And then when you get there, you can, whatever you're going to do.
There's no time, so it's not.
Exactly.
Nobody's staring at a clock.
Yeah. So let's see. Okay. You know what? I want to do a reading. Let's do that.
Do it. Okay. Do it.
I want to start with this one because this is a lost cat. And this cat actually went missing. Let's see. Did I keep this here? This cat went missing in 2008, I believe. I do a lot of missing pet readings.
It's amazing.
This is hard, the missing pets, because for a couple of reasons. People don't want to hear, like, if their pet has gone missing and it's passed, they don't want to hear that, and it's hard for me to tell them that. It's also very hard to pinpoint down an animal. It's unless I'm there, I don't know that I could really, really pinpoint right down where it is. I've tried, and I've been right with a lot of different locations and stuff. But anyways, so this is a cat that was lost. His name is Sebastian, and he went missing in 2008. And the question is he still alive? And was he okay after he went out the window? He got lost by going out the window.
Okay.
I feel like Sebastian is... I know you're not going to believe me when I say this, but I feel like he's still alive.
Is he feral?
No. I feel like somebody found him. Yep.
Cool.
And he was fine after he went out the window. There was no problem. Which would make him 20. I feel like he does have health problems, so it's not like he's going to live a whole lot longer, but this cat's not passed. So that blows my mind.
Well, I'm sorry to the owner, but hooray to Sebastian for surviving at least.
Wow. He's a beautiful cat. He's like a orange. What she called him a seal pointer. I can't remember. I'm sorry, but he's beautiful. And I think that the person that found him didn't know where to find the owner and just kept him. Beautiful cat. You know, maybe somebody can't be missing this cat. Why would they let this cat outside? You know, people do that all the time. But yeah, I think he's still alive.
Huh. Cool.
And yeah, amazing. And he's had a pretty good life. The person that he's with, I feel like it's just one person.
Right.
One lady. So,
cool.
Yeah. So yay, Sebastian. All right. So let's move on to a few more questions. And then I'll do another one. Okay. Do pets go back and forth between dimensions? Yes, they do. If I were to try and summon up one of my animals that is passed right now, that pet would be coming from the other side into our dimension. Does that make sense? Just like the spirits do.
You mean when you communicate with them?
You know, I don't think all the time, but a lot of the time, like, it really depends on the spirit. Like when I say my mom is here, she's here. Mm-hmm. She's not. She could be. I mean, she's got pieces of her over there.
Right.
But it's same with the animals. So, like, if you're really trying to focus and get their attention, like if I were to say Sequoia, you know, she'd come here.
Right.
If I were more to go in and try and figure out, like, hi, baby girl, or, you know, how are you? Are you doing good? And I would just tune into her, and she would be, you know, over there.
Well, they're multidimensional.
That's exactly
right.
We're
one-dimensional.
Right. So they do go back and forth between the dimensions.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Well, let me take that back. We're one-dimensional when we're awake. But when we sleep, we do go. Mm-hmm. So.
Yes. And if you've ever wondered what your pet does when they're laying there with their eyes open or they're sleeping and, you know, look like they're half awake, they can go back and forth between the dimensions and know it. It's like a meditation.
Yeah.
It's interesting. I've watched Zuma do it where I'll just lay there and his eyes are open and he's completely still and he's just zoned.
Well, that's kind of what I meant too by they instinctually know. They know that dimension's there, but here.
Yep.
If that makes sense.
Yep. Okay. Let's see. Do pets remember how they pass or the pain it brought? When we go to the other side, pets, whoever, we don't really remember pain. We don't really feel pain unless we want to. So do they remember? Yes, they do. They have all those memories of this previous life. They remember the things that happened to them or, you know.
It's a part of their consciousness.
Exactly. So, yeah. I don't know. That's a tough question as far as like remembering the pain. I really don't feel like they do. But I also feel like we've talked about this before where when an animal is going to pass, they have the ability to exit their body as well. Mm-hmm. Something else about animals is like, I like to tell people if you can look back on your life and remember around like the ages of 5 and 7, those are about where our animals' minds are. Okay, so you don't remember a lot of those things in your life about what happened during that time. Well, it's the same with animals during life.
Yeah.
They don't hold on to everything. They do not have one of those memories. They are able to let it go.
Right.
But when they get to the other side, we all have that, whether you're animal or human or whatever, that ability to tap into what's happened in any of our lives.
Right.
Any of them.
Yeah, I don't think they're looking in the past, per se.
Yeah. So I want to do another reading. Let's do this. Okay. So let's see. This is Bear. And this is from Leah. She says, I would love if you could connect to Bear, our lab that we put down in April. I just want to know if he's okay and happy. We debated for months putting him down, and I regret not doing it sooner so he didn't have to suffer in the last moments. We miss him truly. Leah's a friend of mine that moved to Texas. I don't remember how many years ago. It's been a few. And it was really funny because as soon as she got there, the stray animals started finding her almost instantly. It was like she had a zoo overnight of cats and dogs and all kinds of things she was finding.
Right.
So Bear was one of those dogs, and I'm very connected to labs. Like, look, isn't he a cute yellow lab? So I watched his whole story with her, and it was beautiful. So I'm going to connect to Bear, and I'm not going to cry over it. That's the plan.
Let's talk to Bear.
Okay. So Bear had a beautiful life with you. He had a very different life before he came to before he came, he spent, I would say, 95% of his time outside. And the time that he was inside was, maybe, I don't know, just random. It wasn't even like big chunks of time. So he was an outdoor dog for the most part.
Right.
Which he didn't mind. He got used to it. And I feel like where he came from also had other animals. It wasn't just dogs. Maybe it was farmland or cows. I see cows specifically. And he really did enjoy that. But he wasn't given this type of life that Leah gave him, which was, the blankets and the warm house and, like
he was liking
what we do. Yeah. So he felt like a king when she found him. Like a king. And he lived the last few years of his life with her, and he's very, very, very grateful for that. And you did everything that you could to keep him comfortable in those last, I can't remember how long it was that he was sick for. I want to say it feels like it was like 6 months or so. You did everything that you could to keep him comfortable, and he was. He was much more comfortable after it was figured. I'm trying to see what. I want to say that he had some stomach issues. I can't remember if she ever said when she had put stuff about him, but I feel like he had some stomach issues. I'm also feeling like lumps and bumps, like lipomas and things around him, and that maybe a couple of those had gone cancerous. So he had a lot going on internally, but yes, it was a good time. You picked a good time. Letting him go any longer, and he probably would have suffered. But he didn't. He didn't suffer. It wasn't. He wasn't in pain for a long time. So he thanks you for giving him that opportunity to exit this life. And this is one of those instances, like we were talking about at the beginning, where I was trying to explain how an animal might be around one owner more than the other. So Leah has spent the last few years with this dog, but she was more connected to this dog in life than the other owners were in the dog's previous, 9 years, 10 years is what I'm feeling. So the dog spends more time now with her.
So he ran away?
What I'm feeling is it wasn't running away. I feel like these areas, they don't fence in. Like here in California, there's a lot of laws about animals. They need to stay in your yard. They cannot be, outside without a leash on. But in a lot of these areas, like Texas, the animals just roam free. And I feel like this was just like the type of situation that he was on a ranch or something like that and just started wandering and kept wandering and kept wandering and got lost. But the fact that he got lost, I also feel like he got lost during a storm. And he's showing me something about storms that he was very fearful of them.
Yeah.
And so when this storm came, he ran and he ran and he ran and he ran. And he didn't know how to get back. And so then she found him. Mm-hmm. And it's a happily ever after.
At least she found him.
Yes. And yeah, I mean, he didn't know any better than the life that he was living before. And it's not like he was being abused or something. I mean, there's ranch dogs and they're happy that they have those lives. But then you take a dog like that and you put him in, a situation like this and they're like, whoa, it's like winning the lottery. They get the best foods and
blankets.
And he couldn't have found a better owner, let me tell you. Like she's even,
that's cool.
I think, better than me sometimes.
Wow.
So, okay, there's the tears.
There you go.
We knew they were coming. Ugh. The animals get me.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so let's see. This was a cute question. When they speak to you, do you hear their voice that they had when they were alive? So, like, a lot of times I will talk to an animal and I'll hear a voice. And you know what? I don't want to say it's a lot of times because it's really not. Most of the times the animals send me pictures or feelings. A lot of times it's like little video type things. Like the other day I did a reading where the dog was showing me, he was laying on his back and like wiggling back and forth. And the owner had asked actually what was his favorite thing to do with me when he was alive. And that's what I saw was the dog on its back going back and forth. I was like, this is a really weird thing, but that's so.
Here, watch me.
Yeah, exactly. So those are the types of things that they show me more often than when they talk to me.
Right.
When I hear the dogs that talk to me, their voices are very different. Like if a dog is dopey, their voice will almost sound dopey, and it's kind of a way of them telling me that they're, a little bit on the dopey side. I have cats that I have talked to that I don't want to say they sound stuck up, but they give you that kind of like cold show.
Pretentious.
Yeah, exactly. And they will have that same kind of tone or whatever on the other side.
Right.
So yes, they do keep, just like humans do, they do keep their personalities and all of that when they go to the other side.
Voice to you like?
Zuma's voice is, it's not dopey, even though you would think, well, it is kind of, but it's not as dopey. It's more just like this curious kind of, it's not high pitched. It's more like in the middle, like average. I don't know how to explain it. It's not high pitched. It's not low.
Right.
He's just kind of like average.
What's this? What's that?
Yeah, exactly. He doesn't talk a lot in like the verbal. He tends to show me a lot of pictures more than anything else.
Right.
Yeah. So let's see what other questions do I have? I have one more reading that I want to do, but I want to make sure that I answered all the ones that I wrote down here. I didn't think that I was going to get through them that fast, or I would have written down more. But let's see. Well, you know what? Let's just go ahead and do this other reading, and maybe that'll drag us into other questions.
Okay.
Yeah. Let's see. What is the other one that I have here? Okay, so this one is 2 cats. These cats this is from Mindy, and they're Wally and Kit. And these cats passed within days of each other, and she wanted me to tell them that she's sorry and that they love them very much. So, these cats, I don't want to say they were poisoned. But it was something like that. It was something with their lungs. It was what I'm feeling like they inhaled something, but one of them inhaled more of it and so passed faster than the other one. But I feel like it wasn't a situation where there's anything that the owner could have done. Toxic mold wouldn't kill that fast, would it? I mean, because that's kind of what I'm seeing is like the
maybe
fungus growing.
If they were under the house and there was some sort of black mold going on, which maybe the owner might want to consider checking out, but because if they're breathing the same thing, but what were the cats indoor, outdoor?
You know what she didn't say? I feel like they were indoor though. So I'm really not sure exactly what this is, but I do feel like it was some kind of inhalant or something that went into their lungs. Again, nothing that you did or could have known that was going to happen. I feel like it was a very fluke thing, not something that happens often, like valley fever or something. I don't know. Maybe it'll hit me later exactly what it is. It's very interesting. But anyways, these cats are together and they're very happy. And I see them with a couple of people. This is cool. They're going to show me a little bit. I see them with a couple of people. I see them with an older gentleman and an older woman. I want to say maybe these are grandparents on your mother's side. So they're showing me that they are with these people. I see one of the cats going in and out of the gentleman's legs. So to me, that indicates that cat liked to rub up against things, which people might think, okay, all cats do that. But no, all cats don't. Right. You know, you have general behaviors that animals have, right, and they show us a lot of those things, like some will, I like tuna, blah, blah, blah.
Right.
But just like people, we don't all have the same likes and dislikes and mannerisms. So this cat showing me it going in and out between the legs is a characteristic of that cat. That's why it's showing me that.
Yeah, I've been around cats that totally stay away from people.
Yeah. Oh, exactly. So anyway, so these kitties, they are around you and your girls all the time. I know that there was a lot. I can feel like the shock and the pain, especially for your kids behind this. Like it was hard enough to lose one cat and then to lose one a couple of days later and the kids just not understanding, but they are around. I do feel like they will come back to you. I don't know if you have any pets other than this or yet, but they haven't reincarnated yet. So I feel like it'll still be a couple of years before that happens and that they will both probably come back as cats again because their lives were cut a little bit short by this.
Right.
So I feel like they still have some kitty things that they want to do. But
they got 8 more lives.
This is true. This is very true. So when we were just talking about this reminded me of another question that I have. Is it true that cats protect our house from evil spirits? So, like, that the spirits of the cats protect it from evil spirits. Okay, couple things. There's no such thing as evil spirits. No. So no, they don't protect us from evil spirits.
Do they see spirits? Probably.
They do. Yeah, if they're still alive, I definitely believe that the animals see spirits, all of them.
Oh, yeah.
But it's like Sabbath. He sees Sequoia all the time, you know. And I know with Zuma, he's way more connected and he sees a lot more. But sometimes he'll just sit there and he'll trip out. And I'm like, what is he looking at? Who is it now?
Yeah.
You know, or he'll just randomly bark at nothing.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, I wonder if that's a new spirit coming in.
Yeah.
You know? So I thought this was a cute question, but I did want to explain that there is no such thing as evil spirits.
No.
Evil spirits, that's something that has been created by man.
Mm-hmm.
And when you talk about evil spirits and maybe feeling things, like some psychics will tell you that they feel evil spirits, but really what they're feeling is their own mind. They just haven't meditated.
Yeah.
You have to quiet your mind. We've talked about this in previous episodes.
Right.
So yeah, if you feel like there's evil spirits, you just need to quiet your mind. And you can also, we all have the capability of making ourselves think crazy things too.
Right.
So if you think your house is quote unquote haunted, well, it is, because they're all haunted, but it's not like that. But you can make your mind think like that.
Yeah.
So
perception.
It absolutely is very much perception. So I wanted to think about what I could tell you guys more about what the other side is like for our animals, or what they would like us to know. Because when we do these, we talk to the spirits and the spirits tell us, what they would like the humans to know. Mm-hmm. So I was thinking, what do the animals on the other side want us to know in general? So we were already talking to Sequoia and brought her in, which is our chocolate lab. So I'm like, bring her in again and kind of see what would she say from the other side that the animals over there want the humans to know. And one of the things I'm feeling is that if there is some kind of tragic sudden death mm-hmm. with an animal, it is planned that way for whatever reason. This is really, I'm kind of glad that this came in. This is what she's bringing up.
Cool.
Because one of the first losses that I had as far as animals go was my dog Sierra that I talked about earlier. Mm-hmm. And Sierra's death was very quick and it was very tragic. She had a cancer called hemangiosarcoma, and we didn't know that she had it. And she showed symptoms and was dead within 6 hours. She died on the operating table. It was horrible. And I still hold on to things from that because I was in total denial, complete denial. We're in the room and, she's clearly having problems. And I'm like, oh, she's fine. She's fine. She's going to be fine. So I have problems in my own mind about how I handled that and mm-hmm. how I wish I would have handled it differently.
Right.
And as an animal communicator, that was another thing too, is that as an animal communicator, I felt like my dog was sick. How did I not know that my dog was sick? And that was the point where I feel that I shut down and stopped believing that I could talk to my own animals, because if I didn't know that my own animal was sick, how can I say that I'm an animal communicator?
Right.
Well, I've learned a lot now that that's just kind of how these things work, and that sometimes you know and sometimes you don't.
Sure.
But Sierra died for a reason, and it for a lot of reasons, but there are lessons that I had to learn from her death. There are things that I had to take from her death that make sense now, and one of those things is learning about hemangiosarcoma, because you have no idea how many people I go through the same thing with readings that have had dogs that have died that way, and now I can help them on a different level. So see, you take a positive from a negative.
Sure.
I didn't see that when she passed in 2006.
Right.
But this is another thing that she's pointing out. I also talked earlier about how she was more my ex-husband's dog. Mm-hmm. So when animals reincarnate, how do they choose who they're going to reincarnate to in a situation like that? Okay. I do not feel that she's reincarnated to us. I feel that she will reincarnate to him if she hasn't already. He may already have a dog that is her. I do think that they can kind of pick and choose like that. It's for whatever reason, maybe it's who they're more attached to. Sabbath, I truly believe may be Tahoe, or if this is something that I battle too, is can an animal be two souls combined? So, for example, you had a black lab, Hadley, and I had a yellow lab, Tahoe.
Right.
Now, is it possible for those two souls to come together to be in one body, one dog body? I don't know the answer to this yet. It's something that I haven't quite figured out, and I have to search into it, and I will. But it is something I'm curious about.
I don't know.
I don't really know. But I will tell you that an animal that has passed, like Sequoia, she does this a lot. She shows herself through our dogs, through Sabbath and Zuma. She will do things that like stand out, that are obviously clearly her behaviors that neither one of these dogs had before she passed. It's a trip. And I know a lot of people, they notice that after their dog passes, like, whoa, this dog is now doing these things that the other one was doing. But that's your dog, not reincarnated. But like when Sequoia does that, that's her way of saying, hi guys. I'm still here.
I'm around.
Yeah. So that's another good one. Good question that I know I saw on the big list was, what kind of signs do animals give us when they pass? That is one where they will kind of hop into the animals' bodies, and you've seen that happen. They also, like, let's say that you had a little dog or a cat that liked to lay in your lap. You may just be sitting there one day and your lap just feels really hot, like it would if that animal was laying there in your lap. And that's because that spirit is...
Their energy.
Their energy is doing that to show you that they're there.
Yeah.
So, and I've had a lot of people that I've done readings for, and when I point that out to them, they totally trip out on it. They're like, whoa, I noticed that, but I had no idea what it was. Well, that's what it is.
Yeah.
They can't really, like, human spirits can do a lot more than animals can do. You have to look at it as, like, as a human, what could you do? Right. You could, play with the lights as a human. You could do those things, but animals don't do that kind of stuff as in their bodies.
Right.
So why would they do that on the other side is the way I feel. So the things that they show us is more like, those, what I was saying before, or like we had a tennis ball. Remember this in our bedroom, that all of a sudden this tennis ball showed up out of nowhere, and it was clearly a Sequoia tennis ball.
Right.
It had been over a year since she had passed.
Yeah, it was weird.
Yeah. And it just showed up. It's things like that. It's, maybe smelling their smell or finding a tuft of hair, whatever it is. Those are the kinds of ways that they communicate with us and try and show us that they're around. It's different. Animals are very different than humans.
I think it's a different level of energy. So like you said, they're probably more pure in the sense of unconditional love, and they're more in the moment type. But I think that has to go along with their level of energy and their intelligence. They're still an energy. They're still a soul.
Yes.
But yeah, humans have a bit more, I think, a higher level of energy. So we're going to be able to do different things probably on a higher level, both here on this side and that side.
Right. So. And you had kind of talked about that, before. You compared it to... Gosh, I can't remember what it was, but like that there are, as a human, our energy is so much that you couldn't fit an animal into human energy. So that's why they don't reincarnate as humans. You put it a great way, and I can't remember what it was.
They'll always come back as an animal.
As an animal, yeah. I do believe that they can come back as different kinds of animals.
That's possible, yeah.
I had a few birds. I used to be huge into birds. I'm really glad I'm not anymore. I love birds, and I love to groom them and take care of them, but that's it. Like, there's so much work. But I do believe I had an eclectus. And loud. I had an eclectus at one point that I do believe was the reincarnation of a ferret that I had years before that. and here's an interesting story for you. Actually, I was really nervous about getting this bird. I don't know why. I was nervous. You know, you bring a new animal in and you wonder, wow, especially an animal like that. So I was on my way to where the breeder that we were picking him up from, and I stop at the light as I'm getting off the freeway, and the car in front of me has on its license plate Cosmo 2. Well, the ferret that I believe was reincarnated into this eclectus was named Cosmo.
Oh, wow.
So when I saw that license plate in front of me that said Cosmo 2, I took it as a good sign that I was making the right decision. Now, unfortunately, I don't have the bird anymore, but, you know, he has a great home. It was just something that within my divorce, it wasn't possible for me to take him. Right. But he has a great home, and I'm still able to communicate with him and, you know.
Cool.
So he's still in my soul family, even though he's not in my presence.
Right.
So I do expect that when he passes, you know, he'll come and talk to me.
Right. That's cool.
Yeah.
Cosmo.
Yeah. He was cute. Ferrets are interesting animals. If you've ever had one, they're like a 2-year-old on crack. They get into everything.
Yeah. They're a handful.
I really don't know what I was thinking. I took on 2 of the hardest pets, really, ferrets and birds, as like my first animals, and you know, and they don't live long, so
right.
Yeah, got a lot of
the ferrets don't.
No, the ferrets don't. Yeah. The birds do.
Yeah,
but yeah, the ferrets don't live long at all. So anyway, so that is the Rainbow Bridge episode for you.
That was pretty cool.
Yeah. I'd like to do more of those animal readings for people. I just get so emotional. Like when I'm sitting and I'm typing, there's like a part of me that can disconnect. Mm-hmm. I disconnect.
Right.
But when I'm sitting here and I'm looking at you and I'm getting into it and I'm talking, it starts. The tears start. And I'm like,
I like to see just kind of, you know, I'm quieter in this because I get to watch. I mean, because you do a lot of readings and stuff when we're around the house, but I'm not sitting here.
Right, watching you
do it.
Right.
And usually you're doing it via, you know, text or email or whatever. So to hear you say it, I get to see you, you know, like where you sort of dip into your concentration. I can actually see you step kind of out.
Yeah, I believe it.
Of this moment.
Mm-hmm.
And you're really connected. It's neat to watch. It's cool.
Yeah, I've never really obviously seen it happen. Like I've never seen a video of myself doing a reading, but I can feel it. I can definitely feel it when I like pop into it and then pop out, which is sometimes like I'll lose my concentration a lot in these episodes. And I really feel like that's what happens is that I get connected to the other side and they start talking through me. Mm-hmm. And then I do something or maybe you say something or whatever that pushes them out. And then I lose my concentration.
Right.
I just got to stay on there.
It truly is a gift just to watch. I mean, even to watch, it's like, wow, it's not that, you know, anything transformational is happening.
Right.
But I can see a difference in your aura and the concentration level. It's different, you know.
Yeah.
It's a cool experience.
Yeah, it's cool to be on the other side of it now, too, because I've watched so many mediums and stuff. And I don't like... Actually, last week was probably one of the first times I've listened to myself do readings in a long time since my medium circle like a year ago. And I was kind of blown away with myself. Mm-hmm. Like, whoa, you sound like those other mediums now. You sound, you know what I mean? Like, you sound like them. Like, it's coming good. And I was really happy with that.
Cool. Yeah. Well, yeah, it's definitely, I look forward to the next circle just to see that in person too. But the growth, you know, you're just letting the information come and not, I think, naturally, like any human, but when you're learning this and realize you have this gift is you sort of want to edit things thinking that that's ridiculous. But I could see you do a lot of less. You're doing a lot less of that. You're just letting it.
I let it flow. Yeah.
Yeah. So I can see that in your body.
Yeah.
You know, when you're doing it.
Huh. That's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to the medium circle. It's a week from Sunday, so the 8th of February. So yeah, anybody that's interested, I'm sure there's still seats available.
Yeah.
Yeah, send me a message, spiritualjoneses@gmail.com.
Cool.
Beautiful.
I'll be there.
Me too.
Front row.
With all my spirit friends. That'll be stalking me all day until I get there. Because I've had it happen before. But it'll be fun. I'm really looking forward to it.
Yeah, it will be. I think it's good.
Yeah.
It's good for people and it's good for you. It's
yes.
good for the world.
I agree.
So,
yep.
Keep doing it.
I am. I'm working.
Don't give up, man.
I'm not.
I know you're not.
Never. I ain't no quitter.
But that was cool. That was a good episode. We need to do like pop in and do more of these, you know, just like a check-in with the, you know.
Yeah, I love the animal episodes, obviously, and I love to do the readings, so yeah.
And any other questions that come up in this area again, then you'll have other questions and just throw in some other readings.
Yeah, exactly. So
that's cool.
So yeah, so we're going to start every week now doing a couple of readings. So if you have anything that you want to send me, again, spiritualjoneses@gmail.com, send it over.
Cool. And that's for whatever, animals,
yeah,
family
absolutely.
members.
Even for like if a person wants a psychic reading, if they're having problems with their career or their marriage or whatever it is, just send them to me and I will do as many as I can.
Cool.
Yeah.
I like that idea.
I think so. I do too. Awesome.
Well, on that note, before we say goodbye, do you want to share your page so people can do all that fun stuff?
Yes, for sure. If you would like to set up an appointment or get to know me better, you can go to SamanthaJonesPsychicMedium.com. I really apologize for the stuffy nose, but obviously, you know, comes with the tears. So yeah, that's me. And like I said, if you have something that you want to send us or you want to come to that medium circle, just shoot me an email.
Cool. Yeah. Very nice. Good job.
Thank you.
And for me, if you like art, you could check me out at djonesartcollection.com or at djonesartcollection for Facebook and Instagram. Yeah. And music, gypsybrown.com. And also on Instagram at Gypsy Brown Music. And you can find us on Facebook too.
Yay.
And I'm staring at all these mics to set up the mics. We are going for demo number 2. So I talked a lot about that earlier, and we ended up trashing that first one because we have new members, and so we're starting over and setting up all the mics for the pre-production. So I'm excited.
Yeah, I am too.
Got a show coming up. I'll just go ahead and say the show. We are going to be playing April 10th at Universal Bar and Grill in North Hollywood on Lankershim Boulevard. So check them out on the web. But that is April 10th at 10 p.m.
Yeah, it's a good time.
Yeah.
We've had quite a few shows there.
Brian said we're playing after the drummer that plays for Lynyrd Skynyrd.
Nice.
So we'll see how that is.
Yeah. I'm very much looking forward to it.
This is the first show in probably over 2 years. So it's been a while, but we've been working really hard and we will be ready.
Yay.
We will. We're all excited. So that's it for me, folks.
Yeah.
Awesome. We appreciate everybody listening into this one.
That we do. Hope you enjoyed it.
Yeah, I did. It was really cool.
Good.
We hope you guys have a great week. And until next week, peace and love.